running all these bands, never been to Santa Rosa. Sat up in the cell with a plug from Sinaloa. European model 550 with the blow up. Represent the brown side, rest in peace, Toka. Money by the stack, the American dream. I was raised in the hood, learned American scheme. Hey, yo, what's good with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, feeling blessed. And like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. With that being said, man, y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all see a couple of stories. Let's get right into them. With that being said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like. Always leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Check the links in the description for my Apple and Spotify music. Go ahead and run my streams up. And you can check out my playlist section on my YouTube channel. Check out my music right there. Thank you guys for you guys' time. Most importantly, thank you guys for you guys' support. So I get some information, some updated information about Fox and the particular reason why him and Lalo were going to war in county jail. So I was like, all right, so you want to make an addition to the stories I've already been telling? He said, yeah. He goes, people don't know why they were putting each other's crew members on site and whacking each other's crew members. Now let that sit in for just a little bit. You got two Mexican mafia members in the hole who can't get to each other. But the best way to duke it out and the best way to feud and see who wins power over LA County Jail is let the crew members go at it. Let these loyal soldados go at it. Let these camaradas shed each other's blood. And the winning team gets the county jail and keeps all the feria. Not, hey, just be in control of LA County Jail. It's all about who gains control over LA County for the feria. Because, you know, LA County is one big money scheme. You know, all that money that goes in, all the drug addicts that go in, all the dope that comes in and out. It's a trip what they're willing to fight for and who they're willing to sacrifice in the chess game. All their pawns, and the best man wins. But a subscriber came forward and he was like, look, there was an individual named Casper from Sun Valley. I think he said Violent Boys. Well, his name was Casper. He knew this individual for quite some time prior to this particular incident. But one day he was going to court in LA County Jail, and they got onto this transfer bus. But see, they didn't put Casper with everybody else on the bus. They kept them separated in a different cage. But he didn't really catch it like that. So all he did was like, hey, what's up, Casper? What's up, bro? And Casper wasn't responding. And he was like, what's up, carnal? What's up, Ese? Like, hey, what's up, fool? What's up? What's the matter? And then some of the homies, or some of the camaradas and the Southerners were like, hey, fool, he's a peseta, bro. That's short. That's Spanish for PC. And he was like, hey, fool, kick back, fool. Let me see what's up. So he started questioning him like, hey, what's good, fool? And he's like, hey, bro, it's all bad, bro. It's all bad. Casper was in Wayside. It was a different LA County jail. I guess they have three big ones down there. Well, he was on Wayside and it was dorm living. So the homie being that, you know, he does know Casper and they were friends and they go way back. Obviously, he's gonna dig in. He's gonna try to extract as much information that he possibly can, because some individuals get put in bad standings, but they're still willing to assist. You know what I mean? Maybe it might look good in the near future, but so he was willing to relinquish some information to the homie, my subscriber. And he goes, hey, fool, what happened, fool? Palabra, what happened? And he was like, bro, I didn't even know, fool. None of us even knew. But we wanted Fox gave us directas, fool, to whack this fool. And we wanted to whack, Lalo's nephew. So my subscriber was like, serio? Well, Fox wanted that dorm. And at the time, Lalo's nephew was responsible for that dorm, working on behalf of Lalo and gaining all that money, all that power, all that control over these other camaradas and Southsiders and residents within that dorm in that county jail. Fox wanted that. Now, Fox knew that was his nephew. But a lot of camaradas in there that whacked him said they didn't know it was his nephew. But that's the hard part to understand, is that these individuals that actually sliced Lalo's nephew up said that they didn't know that was Lalo's nephew. But if Lalo's nephew was responsible for the dorm on behalf of his uncle, I'm pretty sure somebody at that point relinquished that information. But Fox, told his crew members, take that dorm over, take it from this fool. And he wound up whacking the nephew, and it gets back to Lalo. So when it gets back to Lalo obviously is gonna do his investigations. He's going to find out more information, and he found out the individuals that wind up slicing his nephew up and got them blasted. At the same time, he's trying to fight to gain this dorm back that Fox just, hijacked from him and try to get his nephew back in good standings. That's what happened. As I'm being told this, obviously he said that he told Casper, all right, then good looking out, and that was it, and left it as that. And me, most of the time, I hardly ever have an opinion when I'm told these stories. I just be like, man, that's messed up. And my subscriber was like, it is, bro, because Casper was a good homie. He put in work. He did his thing. He pick up a blade. He pick up a pedazo if you asked him to. I go,
He said all he was trying to do was probably just try to earn a name, work for a big homie, get in good graces with a big homie, and especially Fox at the time that had a lot of power and was taking over a lot of yards, a lot of buildings. Sometimes these dudes don't know what they're doing and what they're doing it for. They're just being told what to do with no other information other than, hey, bro, whack this fool and take that for me. You hold that position, get me this amount of money, and that's it. That's Thuval. And you really don't hear nothing else from these big homies. And that's pretty much what happened with this individual. He whacked Lalo's nephew and ended up getting blasted later for it. Everybody that was involved in that little conspiracy to take out Lalo's nephew got deemed, got blasted. So while that happened, things escalated in the county jail, and now you got camaradas taking out each other on behalf of the big homies. So they've been feuding for one another for quite some time, and it tripped me out that it was another example. Fox being greedy, Fox being selfish, Fox wanting to take it all for himself, didn't hesitate to look at his brother's nephew and be like, all right, man, I'm gonna kick it off like this. I'm gonna smack his nephew just to let this fool know, you know, how serious I am. Like, now I'm more powerful than you. That's what this game has become. And yet you get a lot of individuals who are willing to work for these carnales and earn a name and sacrifice their lives, their careers, and everything. And half the time, they don't even know what they're doing it for. They're only doing it because they received directives in a letter, in a huila, over the phone, through a secretary. Half the time, their secretaries were women, which is a filter that was put out saying that no more, we're not going to be using no more secretaries now that all the big homies are out there on the line and have access to phones, to claps, that there's no need to have secretaries. So they want to suspend all secretaries at that, women be involved in the business. But Fox was still utilizing women. Tonito was still utilizing women. Güero Verde was still using his wife. And that's probably a big reason why his wife got taken out, which I'm going to talk about that article too, because I got a good perception on that article. Jacko gets in trouble for the same thing, for utilizing women in his family. Because in Jacko's situation, there was Perico from Norwalk and Cisco from Puente. They were Fed brothers, and they got out and they wanted a piece of the pie. But at this time, the Jacko was running his area, and he had his area under control. Nobody can get a grasp of his area, and he was making a lot of money. Everybody knows Jacko was known to be a businessman. Jacko at the time had all of San Gabriel Valley under his power, under his control. And that's crazy when you think about it. If you look at the San Gabriel Valley, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, at least each subscriber can list at least 10 different hoods in the San Gabriel Valley, and he controlled all of them. They all answered to him. They all paid the taxes. And that's crazy that a lot of this power stems from the manipulation of young Sureños to be loyal to them, and the taxation program that was implemented in the early 90s. That's all it's ever been about. So you got Cisco and Perico getting out the feds. They want a piece of the pie. They want a piece of the action. But if everybody's in control of their own area, there's not that much wealth to spread out. There's not that much wealth to spread out. So what are you going to do as a carnal who's not, the other carnales ain't giving you nothing because all of them are fighting for greed. All of them are fighting for territory. All of them ain't willing to share. Hell, you got two carnales in LA County Jail trying to take each other's crews out just so they can have what the other man has. They're fighting over who can gain all the most territory. The way they look at it, if Fox wins, I get all of Lalo's stuff. If Lalo wins, man, I take all Fox's empire. I want all of them, his crew soldiers and everything. I want everything. So obviously they start going around Jacko's area and start taxing his vadios. Start making fools pay rent, start taking some of his dope, his stash spots, everything. And Jacko hears about it. So he's trying to get it shut down. They kidnapped his brother-in-law and demanded a ransom from Jacko, their own brothers. It was crazy that my subscriber said the same thing to me. He goes, look, bro, the way the states and the feds argue for the NF, he goes, bro, it's the same thing for the Mexican mafia. It ain't no different. It's just not brought out there like that, like how you guys did it. It's different. And I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that. I just thought. So I was confused. I was like, wow, you guys are pretty much the Mexican mafia is going through the same feud as the NF. It's just the NF's part was more public, more out there. More people were getting deemed left and right. And it was just real noticeable and real out there, just published. So you got brothers from the feds who got made in the feds and came out with nothing. Because everybody in the States already has control of California. So they go back to California. They're pretty much their homeland, their state, where their power is more recognized than anywhere else. and they just infringed on Jacko's neighborhoods and was like, man, we're taking all this for us, but we need something. But when he doesn't want to pay, they snatch up his brother-in-law and demand a crazy ransom. The cold part about it is Jacko came through for his family, got his brother-in-law back, and he paid that ransom. But as he did that, he utilized his wife to put out a green light using Sureños to get back at Perico and Cisco. And at the time, Bullet from 18th Street was actually his secretary. And Bullet had a crew. Bullet was in Corcoran Shoe, and Bullet had a crew of 18th Street hit squads. And he had a squad working for him. And it was just coincidental that Perico got shot at in Norwalk by two shooters that were identified to be from 18th Street. So obviously they put two and two together and realized that Jacko put out a green light through his wife, and his wife contacted Sureños, who contacted 18th Street to get out there and take out two carnales, which is against the rules. Against the rules. But do you think Jacko for 1 minute sat there and was like, bro, I can't hit two carnales without other carnales, but obviously I've been stingy and being selfish and not sharing my wealth with other carnales that I can't even ask my own brothers for a favor, like, hey, fool, put these fools in check, put these fools in line, fool, this is my territory. Nah, he just said, I'm going to utilize my secretary and get some shooters to blast at, two carnales. If they get caught, those fools will get blasted anyways, and it keeps everything under a tight seal. It'll keep their mouth shut so they don't come back on me that I was trying to take out my own brothers utilizing camaradas when I shouldn't have. But it happened. And then we all know Fox beat the indictments, beat the case, because he had a good lawyer with all that tax money he's collecting off camaradas, with all that money he probably generated from LA County Jail and other territories that he gained all that money from. And he pretty much beat the case because they got it to where they said Perico was just, exercising entrapment to get him entrapped. And that whole indictment with the templarios and things in Mexico and all that little indictment that you guys are familiar with, think about it. Think about the amount of money that individual spent on a lawyer like that can help him beat a Fed case, beat an indictment, beat a RICO act that had to do with him and the cartels. And then you guys know the results of Jacko. He went somewhere on a court case, came back, and he wound up going to SNY. And then that's when I met him later on down the road, and his girl would kick me in the face, all that good stuff. But still, though, I was able to outline two scenarios on how these camaradas, in which I respect. I'm obviously going to respect norteños and sureños to a degree because I understand what they're doing. I understand their belief system. I understand why they believe in it. I understand what they want to become. But I ain't the only channel that's actually outlining the dirty politics and the scandalous dealings that the individuals that they idolize the most and what they do and how they do each other bad. If they're able to take each other out and they call themselves brothers, they call themselves mafiosos, that's my carnal right there. Why have a policy, only a carnal can hit another carnal? No camarada can ever touch one of my brothers. Bro, you don't even value your own brother to that extent when you're willing to have him gone and have him down just to take over his neighborhoods, just to take over his tax program, just to block his crew and put your crew in there so you can have it all to yourself. But they really expect these camaradas, these young kids, to really listen and pay attention to them when time and time again they display their ruthlessness. They display their mentality of being a mafioso, how they're quick to whack their own brothers. All for territorial gain and tax purposes. See who got the most feria. The NF ain't no different. The state and the Fed faction, that war going on, it's all about money. Who's in control of the money? Who's going to get the money? Who's going to control the streets to gain the money, to profit from the money? For what? So they can get their own lawyers for appeals, lawyers for these new RICO indictments, some feria to give their kids. So what about these other families and their kids that you're manipulating, that you're utilizing as soldiers? What do they get out of it? Life terms? First class ticket to their own grave? Also, the big homies can just be in a cell feeling superiority over everybody. See, the thing about being manpower, about being a soldier, about being a loyal believer, is that you're only going to make yourself available for others when it's only convenient for them, never when it's convenient for you. See, that's the problem, is that people need to stop overplaying their role and realize how they're being utilized, what they're being utilized for. And stop proving yourself to big homies who haven't proven themselves to none of us, none of the manpower. Stop proving yourself to big homies who haven't proven themselves to anybody else, for that matter. They've already proved who they are. They've already shown who they are. I think people need to stop just turning a blind eye to them and realize, man, who they really are and what you could do for them. And so at some point, ask them, hey, man, what could you do for us? Besides taking our money and ruining our lives and then put it in some bad standings or having us go to war with one another for the sole purpose of your own ego and your own value of money over your own people. Think about that. So with that being said, like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Peace.